Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Kent for Tuesday, May 11th, 2021. Brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Dr. Mike O'Neill is simply the best dentist that there is. When you hire a healthcare professional, try to make sure he's the best or she's the best. In this case, Dr. Mike O'Neill, absolutely the best. He's been my dentist the last 27 years. I know a little bit about Dr. Mike O'Neill. Call him. Make him your dentist today. 317-849-2933. Let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts first. How about Eric Fisher signing with the Colts? If Eric Fisher projects to being healthy, and if he wasn't projecting to be healthy, why would the Colts spend $9.4 million to lock him up for the 2021 season? An Achilles tendon repair, it takes time, but not as much time as it used to. It used to be a full year. It's no longer a full year. Fisher injured his Achilles on January 24th in the AFC Championship game. He projects to be healthy by the beginning of the season, according to experts on torn Achilles. Not with specific information about Eric Fisher's injury. If he can play to start the season and play really well, play at the level he played at prior to the torn Achilles, that Colts offensive line, you got Pro Bowler, Eric Fisher, Pro Bowler, and All-Pro, Quentin Nelson, Pro Bowler, Ryan Kelly, Mark Lewinsky, who's not a bad guard, good guard. And then at right tackle, you got Braden Smith, and Braden Smith is just this far south of being a Pro Bowler. This might be the best offensive line in the National Football League. I saw Mina Kimes yesterday on ESPN, and she said that she thought that the Colts were one of the teams that maybe have taken a step back, that people think have taken a step forward. She cited both the Titans and the Colts as teams that may have taken a step back. I just don't see it. You've replaced Phillip Rivers with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is a more dynamic player. You saw in that last 2 minutes and 30 seconds against the Buffalo Bills where the Colts needed somebody to rally them, move them down the field, put them in a position to kick a game-tying field goal in that playoff game. Rivers couldn't get it done. Not dynamic enough to do it. Carson Wentz is dynamic enough to do it. In 2020, he didn't have a good year. He had a rotating, kind of a revolving door at both tackle spots. He had wide receivers who were hurt and were replaced by practice squad level players. He didn't have the weapons necessary nor the protection necessary to play at a high level. And so, 50 sacks in 12 games. That's what Carson Wentz was, threw a lot of interceptions. And not all of those interceptions were because of bad protection and because of bad routes by wide receivers. Some of them were just bad throws. With Frank Reich, with the weapons that he's got and the protection that he projects to have, Carson Wentz should have a bounce-back year. Remember, in 2000, this isn't a one-year wonder in 2017. All right, he played at an MVP level in 2017, yes. But then in 2018 and 2019, he played at a high level also. Eagles went to the playoffs in 2019 with Carson Wentz as the quarterback. They replaced Justin Houston with Kwity Paye. We'll see what that means, right? We don't know what that means. Marlon Mack coming back, hopefully healthy, hopefully explosive, giving the Colts a two-headed monster in the backfield so they don't run Jonathan Taylor down. Hopefully, this is enough to get the Colts to a point where they can go 11-6 against a much tougher schedule. The schedule they've got, we know that they play Tennessee and the Texans and the Jaguars home and home, right? Then you've got, these are the home games against the Patriots, who are going to be better. The Jets, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Raiders, and the world champion Bucks. Road games at Arizona, Baltimore, Buffalo, Miami, and the 49ers. That's a tough schedule. That isn't easy. That's why the Colts may take a step back, may wind up going 10-7, because that schedule is really difficult. No schedule against NFL teams is a cupcake schedule, but comparatively last year, the Colts had an easy schedule. This is not that. This is going to be a tough schedule. It's going to be a tough year. The Colts better hitch up their pants and get ready to play really, really good football week after week after week. Going to be an interesting season, But Eric Fisher signing yesterday with the Colts, 1 year, $9.4 million, elevates that offensive line to a point where, again, if he's healthy and if that line stays healthy, that is, if not the best, certainly among the 3 best in the National Football League. Indiana soccer yesterday advanced again to the College Cup, a 2-0 win against Seton Hall in terrible weather. So on Friday, they go to Cary, North Carolina, and they're going to play Pitt and see if they can get to the national championship game. Indiana soccer under Todd Yeagley, I don't know what it is about the Yeagley family, but those guys can coach soccer. They're really good. Pacers last night, 111-102 winners over the Cavs. This is why I would never, if I were a gambler, I would never gamble on the NBA. Last night, the Pacers were 8.5-point favorites, right? Vegas knows something. Pacers wind up covering by a half point. That I'd have had a heart attack in the last 30 seconds of the game. Pacers get the cover in large part because Kelan Martin was really good. The Butler product, 25 points to lead all scorers for the Pacers. One thing that drove me nuts was Colin Sexton. He is senior flop. Worst flopper ever. Kicking his leg out, moving his arms into a position, just looking like he got blasted by Justin Holiday once and TJ McConnell another time. It was just terrible. I thought it was an embarrassment to the game. This is a team, the Cavaliers, that have lost 10 in a row. If you're going to suck with some dignity. Colin Sexton played with no dignity last night whatsoever for the Cavaliers. Cavaliers damn near won, though, as a result. Domas Sabonis, 21 and 20. Last night, Karis LeVert, 20 and 10. The Pacers, they have 4 games remaining. They're at home their next 3 tonight against the 76ers at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Then they've got the Bucks Thursday night, the Lakers Saturday. Then they conclude the season on the road at Toronto. And what they got to do in those games, they're 3 up on the Bulls for that last playoff spot, or play-in spot, really. And they're a half game up on the Wizards for in the battle for 9th. I don't know. This play-in thing is so ridiculous. It's just, I think it's embarrassing to the NBA. But what the hell? If you needed to get into the playoffs, you needed to get into the playoffs. Why not? Pacers kind of struggling. They're obviously not going to be, survivors in the playoffs for long, but better to play more basketball than less basketball, right? Cubs, they start a 2-game set in Cleveland, the site of Game 7 in 2016, which we remember fondly. One of the last times I enjoyed watching the Chicago Cubs play baseball, and one of the last times I think that the Chicago Cubs enjoyed playing baseball. This is a team that is not having any fun at all. Anthony Rizzo, like 2015 and 2016, looked like he was having a ball playing a game. Now it looks like he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, not having fun at all. Same thing with Chris Bryant. Look, if you don't have the mental strength, the psychological wherewithal to have fun playing baseball for millions of dollars, I cannot help you. You got to go get some help if you can't have fun playing baseball for millions of dollars. What is wrong with doing that for a living? Birthdays, the great Luke Hammonds celebrating a birthday. Mike Mann, happy birthday. Justin Craig, the great Larry Hawley celebrating a birthday up in the city of Chicago, tasting beers and enjoying all of them. Dana Shields, happy birthday. Joshua Robert, happy birthday. And Eddie Opolinski, Kenny to the stars, celebrating a birthday today. Eddie O out at Crooked Stick. I'm sure he's going to be helping some hacks like the great Eddie White navigate the course and try to score somewhere in the upper 90s. No offense, Eddie. Later on today, you know what? If today's your birthday, you celebrate like hell. If it's not your birthday, you celebrate somebody else. That's best done with an honest and specific compliment. All we have to do is try to lift each other up a little bit instead of drag each other down. Can we do that? Make a pledge. Make a pledge to me. Yes, you can do that. I can do it. Julie can do it. We can all do it. So let's do that. Later today, Inside Indiana Sports Now. Can't wait to talk to you then about the Colts. The schedule is going to be announced tomorrow, like I said. And Indiana basketball continues to be fascinating to me. Mike Woodson, terrific podcast by A.J. Guyton, an interview, 47 minutes of an interview with Mike Woodson. And Mike Woodson could not be more candid. Mike, I'll tell you what you get when you get a 63-year-old guy who's coaching college basketball for the first time. You get a guy who knows who he is secure in his own skin, right? And that's Mike Woodson, just telling stories and having a great time, swearing. I dug it. It was excellent. I think you'll enjoy it too. We'll talk about that a little bit later today. Cannot wait to talk to you then.